Nintendo announced an announcement for the Super Secret NX, and what came next will shock and surprise you or be entirely what you expected to happen. Let's chat about it in the comments below, but first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack, and this is Feature Creep. Nintendo is such a bizarre company these days. I've been a supporter of their stuff for quite some time, and so as news comes out, I'm always excited to see what they have to offer, whether I think it'll do well or not. So it was that 2 days ago, they announced that they were going to announce, officially this time, the new gaming device that they've been working on. And it's no surprise that speculators in the stock market saw that announcement of an announcement and promptly sent Nintendo stock up a bit over 5%, and then back down over 7% when everybody found out what it actually was. So, yesterday we got a trailer for the Nintendo Switch, the name of the new gaming device. I hesitate to call it a console because you wouldn't call your Android tablet, nVidia Shield, or iPad a console. The Nintendo Switch is effectively exactly what the leaks and patent filings have shown up until this point. The Switch has a docking port which connects to your TV at home. The main gaming device itself is a thick tablet which is powered by a custom nVidia Tegra graphics chip, according to a post by nVidia itself. The Switch comes with a controller that looks a bit like a junior high school art project, but has detachable light gray sections that slide off and can be slid onto the edges of the tablet, whereupon the tablet will come out of the base station and travel with you. And discs are a thing of the past, with the Switch using 3DS-like but slightly thicker game cartridges, an unfortunate indication that backwards compatibility will rely on online purchase, if at all. It's not yet known whether 3DS cartridges will work in the device, but I doubt it, unless they're going to emulate the 3DS double screen in the tablet UI. Oddly, whether or not the tablet is a touch interface was never shown during the trailer. I didn't see a spot on the device where a stylus might be hidden either. So this is what Nintendo has been hiding for so long, and let's be perfectly honest here, this is one of the weirdest product announcements yet, with a release date only 5 months away. It's going to be releasing in March 2017, moving gaming in the direction of the iPhone announcement model or something like that. And I can see some people certainly being interested in the Switch. It's a bit on the large side for mobile gaming, but the trailer showed off mobile local multiplayer, which is something we've not really had to date in a meaningful way. The trailer also showed off a number of games. The new Zelda game was shown, but for those who didn't notice it, it had poor frame rates on the mobile device specifically, and significant screen hitching during visual effects when shown on the TV, which is not good for your reveal trailer. They showed Skyrim playing on it, which, come on Nintendo, the game is 6 years old. Is that really something to showcase this device to us? Or does it give us a good indication of the level of power that the Switch has on offer? Tegra chips are no slouch as far as mobile devices go. The Switch will likely be on the X1 level of chip, which sure is great for a tablet, but runs with around a tenth or less of the power of a GTX 980 Ti. It's closer to the mid-range 700 series GTX cards. They do of course have higher power capabilities when you're able to plug the mobile devices into a wall socket, so that's the thing, but the games have to be able to still run in low power mode, and this creates a problem. A very significant problem. The Wii U failed for a few reasons, the core of which was that there were so few games being made for the platform. One of the unfortunate truths about the console war is that even though one device is always ahead, the other is close enough, and so developers can port their new games from one system to another, thus dramatically increasing the number of potential customers. If, however, you are significantly behind the curve on a performance standpoint, as the Tegra chip is when compared to the current-gen consoles, you've introduced an issue for developers. And that issue is that the game they designed to work handily on the Xbox One and PS4, which both have higher power variants coming, moving in the opposite direction of Nintendo, may not be portable to the Switch, even if you want to, because even on low settings, it might not be powerful enough. Nintendo showed off a big list of developers as partners for the Nintendo Switch system. Bandai Namco, Activision, Electronic Arts, From Software, Mobile Dark Souls anyone, Bethesda, Capcom, Konami, Sega, Ubisoft, Warner Bros., Epic, Take-Two Interactive, 505, Codemasters, and a bunch of others. But still likely under NDA, no one, not even Bethesda, with Skyrim in the trailer, is currently willing to publicly state which games are coming to the platform. Just like the nVidia Shield, however, assuming a certain similarity in performance, the only games we're likely to see from most third-party developers are going to be older titles ported to the device because that's all it will be able to handle natively. And that's an incredibly disappointing thought. And you can hardly blame devs for this. Remember, the game industry is all about big-budget, massive, flashy titles. Without some significant exclusivity investment from Nintendo, the likelihood of seeing third-party devs making games purpose-built for the Switch is not going to be very high, especially in the beginning with an unknown player base, but even more so without the option to leverage performance of the mainstream consoles, not to mention how out of place this is with the PC market. The nVidia Shield itself is really only useful for native ports of older titles, and new titles are only relevant by way of PC streaming to the tablet, a function that is far less useful outside of your home network Wi-Fi. For an item in its favor though, Nintendo first-party titles are always very strong, and during the trailer we get to see a new 3D Mario game and a bit of what looks like either Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 9 or just enhanced Switch versions of the previous games with some new content. And those titles are very likely to drive sales. Indeed, the trailer got a hell of a lot of views and seems to be rather well received. Like I said though, I'm not impressed at all by how Zelda Breath of the Wind looks. The trailer should showcase the best, not show problems, but such is life. So I'm going to be an ass here and make a particularly egregious claim. The Nintendo Switch isn't really a Nintendo device. It lacks the normal flair and style that Nintendo usually puts into their systems. Rather, it appears that the Switch is just an updated nVidia Shield, but without the PC streaming and with a proprietary API. Other than the gimmick of the unique controller, local mobile multiplayer, and the ability for some more customized controllers to be added in the future, I don't really see what value this device brings to the table. Now, is that enough for me to go back to my Nintendo predictions about Nintendo not likely making another console if this stuff fails? Well, I think for starters, it's safe for me to now say that the Nintendo Switch isn't even a console. Not in the traditional sense anyways, which I will absolutely grant that the simple use of the word is kind of irrelevant. But no, I don't think that I'm yet 100% vindicated in my view. It remains to be seen how well the Switch will do in the marketplace, and a release in March, missing the Christmas window after all those kids got a brand new Xbox One, PS4, or even PS4 Pro for Christmas, certainly does call into question potential sales figures. But until we see it release, I'll reserve judgment. The stock market is certainly passing judgment though. As I mentioned at the top of this, the speculators got involved quickly with the announcement of the announcement being made, but after the actual reveal, they disappeared pretty quickly as well. Could this be a pump and dump, that being a case where a bunch of people buy to stoke hype and then sell out before others realize the hype was without content? Sure. But the same thing didn't happen for the Xbox One and PS4 announcements, so it could be a measure of the general disappointment in the market. At the end of the day, the Nintendo Shield, or nVidia Switch, is a mobile gaming device claiming non-mobile games as its primary design focus, which, let's be honest, has been tried a few times, and market-leading successful none of those times. What did you think of the Nintendo Switch reveal? Did it match your expectations? Let's chat about it in the comments. Feature Creep is a regular show every week, and I think you should subscribe because apparently you got all the way to the end without closing the browser window in a blind rage. Also, I have a Discord server with a link in the description so you can come and chat, and there's even an exclusive backer chat for those who patronize me on Patreon. Patronizing me in the comments doesn't count. Thanks for watching. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.